What are the main elements of your platform, and why should students be interested?
So there's lots of different things I want to do. Starting off, I want to continue lots of the good work that I've been starting this year. So big projects like getting the Pleasance redevelopment, I'm doing a lot on. So last week I spent the week interviewing design teams, talking about how we want the project to look. Next year I want to continue to have the experience I've worked in this project, to talk to even more societies about what they want here and put them in the driving seat for taking this forward. Also, we want to make EUSA generally more ethical, more accessible and more exciting. So start expanding on bike projects and lots of other things that will generally just improve students' experience in the long run, but also in the short term.
Why and how do you believe you will be able to carry out your commitments? And do you believe that they are all reasonable and realistic?
Yeah, I believe that all my commitments are reasonable and realistic, and that not all of them will necessarily be completed in a year, but they can definitely all be started. Last year I made lots of promises and they've all been completed. I promised a housing cooperative. I'm not going to lie, not even I thought I would achieve that in a year, but we've done it. And we've got the university to commit to things, we've got the university to send out a consultation our investments. So I think that going forward, with the research that's already been put into these things, so attendance union, we've been looking at broadly how that could start already. It's like a students' union, it's collective action for students. So we can work together to make sure that happens, and I don't think it's unrealistic as long as we put in the time and the effort.
If you were to make one concrete, non-abstract change to Edinburgh University student life, what would it be? And why would you choose it over the other changes you would like to make?
Choose one concrete one. That's interesting. I think lots of the changes and things go together. So choosing one puts a false dichotomy that you can't achieve things together. But one of the big things that I want to do is create a bike hire scheme, which makes it easy for students to cycle around the city without having to face the cost of bikes. So it works quite successfully at places like Aberdeen, and you work with organisations like the police to collect stolen bikes and bikes that are no longer wanted, which means it doesn't put a burden on the Students' Association, and then students can hire them for about £40 for as long or as little time as they want, which improves students' lives, makes them healthier, makes them greener, and generally across the city, and gives you easier access.
There has been a lot of interest in the fact that you are running for a EUSA position 2 years in a row. Would you care to comment on the matter?
I think it's not exactly a big radical thing. We're the only university in Scotland that hasn't already had it happen, so I think there's no reason why the commitment and energy that we've already shown and that the experience and time that's kind of been put into training me up shouldn't be used to good use if that's what students want.
In your manifesto, you mentioned education for sustainable development. The University of Edinburgh already runs courses on the topic. Could you please specify what you mean by this?
Yeah, so it's one of the big projects we're doing a lot of work on this year, and we've applied for the EUSA Green Impact Excellence Award, which hopefully we'll be achieving, which is really exciting. So we've been talking to the university about how we can ensure that all courses cover aspects of sustainability. Essentially, what I want to see is that when people graduate, all of our graduates are sustainability literate, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're all going to agree with everything, but everybody is able to critically engage with the topic, and it's not just that everyone has to choose an individual course which focuses on sustainability, but it's covered by everything.
Your manifesto also mentions that the university's current curriculum is too white, too Western and too male dominated. Could you clarify what you mean on the matter?
So I think it's one of the things we hear a lot brought up, especially by our liberation groups, by students more generally. It's that, yeah, as you say, our curriculum is too dominated by the same texts. I've heard a lot of English literature students talking about how in their poetry classes, or generally in the classes, they have 1 week that's set aside for women. And in those weeks, that'll be the week you study text by women. But sometimes, not even then you study text by women, you study text about women. And so I think it is interesting, it's something across all our courses that we need to start looking at as to how we can diversify them a bit more, and especially make them less white. We very rarely study texts that are from various different cultures, and it's not just in subjects like English, but across the board. And it's something I think we need to open ourselves up to and allow some, greater diversity in our education.
Kirsty Haigh, thank you very much.
Thank you.